The case of Yang Lanlan, thousands of miles away in Australia, forced China's Ministry of Public Security to step in, and was a chilling order really issued. For the next 3 months, no one may investigate Yang Lanlan. Whoever tries will go to jail. Just as the scandal began to spread, another shock followed. Rumors that Xi Jinping himself had been rushed to Beijing's 301 hospital, with top doctors flown in overnight. One young woman's car crash may have triggered the most dangerous crisis of Xi Jinping's rule. As one entrepreneur concluded, when the core of power begins to crack, no amount of censorship can silence the tremors. It seems the Chinese people may finally see the dawn. South China Sea, Chinese Navy destroyer and Coast Guard vessel collide while chasing a Philippine ship. Hedge fund giant Bridgewater dumps $1.5 billion in Chinese stocks, pulls out of China, completely for the first time. All of it, exposed unfiltered right now on China Social Trends. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us. Yang Lanlan case. Rumors say China's Ministry of Public Security ordered whoever investigates will go to jail. The Yang Lanlan case keeps unraveling with explosive revelations, and the drama has now shifted from Australia straight to the political core of Beijing. According to the People's Paper, Chinese commentator Lu Zheng revealed that he had quietly consulted contacts inside the Ministry of Public Security about Yang's case. The answer he received was blunt and chilling. For the next 3 months, no one is allowed to investigate Yang Lanlan. Whoever tries will go to jail. Shocked, Liu pressed further. Was it really that serious? The reply came back in just 3 words: you know why. In the coded language of CCP politics, you know why is not an explanation, it's an order. It signals that the matter is so sensitive it can only be understood as part of a top-level backroom deal. Something is being buried. And so the larger question emerges: who exactly is Yang Lanlan, and what kind of hidden status could force China's Ministry of Public Security to intervene directly? From my research, the ministry does not act on ordinary scandals. It steps in only when a case grows beyond local control, public outrage threatens social stability, the issue touches national security, or there is a direct order from the very top. And who has that authority? Only Xi Jinping himself, the CCP's General Secretary, together with the Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission. That commission is led today by Chen Wenqing as Secretary and Wang Xiaohong as Deputy Secretary, both men known to be Xi's inner circle of loyalists. Adding fuel to the fire, the Xi Dynasty channel unearthed another telling detail. The first to label Yang a red second generation was an Australian netizen named Jonathan. Days later, he claimed he was threatened across borders by Chinese police. Analysts point out the pattern. When a rumor is false, the party ignores it. But when the Ministry of Public Security is dispatched, it usually means the rumor has teeth. From here, the conclusions write themselves. If the ministry is truly involved in Yang Lanlan's case, it is effectively an admission that she is connected to the Xi family, perhaps as Xi Jinping's illegitimate daughter, or possibly his niece, the daughter of Xi Jinping, as the swirling rumors suggest. Of course, no outsider can confirm it, and nothing can be verified unless the insider breaks their silence. But the most puzzling detail isn't the rumor itself, it's the timeline. Why impose exactly 3 months of silence? According to the People's Paper, the answer lies in Beijing's political calendar. The CCP's 4th plenum is scheduled for October. 3 months from now, it will be behind them. At a moment when whispers about Xi Jinping's weakening grip on power are growing louder, and speculation swirls over whether he might step down or retreat into semi-retirement, the timing looks anything but accidental. It suggests that Public Security Minister Wang Xiaohong, acting almost certainly under Xi's orders, is enforcing a blackout to shield the party until the plenum concludes. The stakes are extraordinary. Allowing Yang Lanlan's identity and fortune to be exposed now would hand Xi's rivals a devastating weapon. In the end, this 3-month gag order is not simply about hiding Yang Lanlan. It is about protecting Xi Jinping's political survival itself. If you're still watching, comment 1, so I know you're still with me. Rumors say Xi Jinping was rushed to 301 Hospital, Shanghai's top experts flown in overnight. On August 15, Hu Liren, a Shanghai entrepreneur now based in the US, reported that 3 top medical experts from Shanghai were urgently summoned on the night of August 14 to the hospital's core ward for a patient of extremely sensitive identity. That patient, Hu revealed, was Xi himself. This incident happened right when CCP's Beijing conclave ended. In China's political system, 301 Hospital is more than a clinic. It is a barometer of power. Every midnight call for outside experts signals turbulence at the top. The fact that Beijing mobilized cross-provincial specialists at such an hour strongly suggested a sudden and serious health episode for the CCP's paramount leader. Xi's health has long been shrouded in secrecy, with speculation mounting since last year's third plenum, when rumors of a stroke and collapse first circulated. Hu claimed he once obtained a medical file allegedly belonging to Xi, detailing 6 sets of exams: thyroid, kidney, metabolic, cardiac, neurological, and abdominal. The results pointed to suspected senile brain atrophy, Parkinson's disease, hypothyroidism, chronic heart failure, mild renal impairment, hyperlipidemia, and alcoholic fatty liver disease. While the authenticity of the report could not be confirmed, its technical detail was striking. That Xi's hospital admission coincided with the close of this year's Beijing meeting only intensified the intrigue. The gathering had already been described by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent as a closed-door meeting, with rumors that it would decide Xi's political future, the 4th plenum agenda, and succession planning. Although the proceedings were hidden from public view, the outside world saw signs of upheaval. As previously reported, on August 4th, the so-called Mini Tiananmen Jiangyou uprising shook the country, triggered by outrage over the brutal beating of a 14-year-old girl whose mother was deaf and mute. On August 5th, Xi Jinping ally Chen Min'er's former subordinate Jing Yaping was purged. On August 9th came reports that United Front chief Liu Jianchao had been detained. On August 11th, Vice Minister of Veterans Affairs Yang Yubin was dismissed in connection to Miao Hua's faction. On August 12th, ex-Central Bank Party Secretary and banking regulator Guo Shuqing was placed under investigation. Leaks even suggested that party elders had directly challenged Xi, blaming him for policy failures and poor personnel choices. As Beijing battled internal turmoil, another crisis erupted thousands of miles away in Sydney: Yang Lanlan's Rolls-Royce crash. For Hu Liren, the timing was too striking to ignore. On the very eve of Yang's first court appearance, news of Xi's hospitalization emerged. Was it mere coincidence, a stroke of inevitability, or the first domino in a chain of events already tipping over? Commentator Jiang Feng sharpened the question. The leader, who once boasted of riding any storm, what kind of tempest has finally overtaken him? Has his health reached the point of no return? Or did the scandal from the Southern Hemisphere send his blood pressure surging, aggravating hidden injuries? And how massive will the political explosion be when that invisible fuse finally ignites? For Hu, one conclusion is undeniable. When the core of power begins to crack, no amount of censorship can muffle the tremors. Or as he put it seems the Chinese people may finally see the dawn. South China Sea. Chinese Navy destroyer and Coast Guard vessel collide while chasing a Philippine ship. A rare incident unfolded in the South China Sea when a Chinese Navy Luoyang 3 Type 052D destroyer and China Coast Guard vessel number 3104 slammed into each other. The collision happened roughly 11 nautical miles off Scarborough Shoal. Ironically, the Coast Guard ship, which had been chasing a Philippine vessel, ended up becoming the victim of a self-inflicted crash caused by China's own forces. For years, China's Navy and Coast Guard have been accused of harassing Philippine ships around Scarborough, repeatedly trying to encroach on Manila's sovereign waters. This latest incident is being seen as a kind of poetic justice after years of maritime bullying. Analysts believe Chinese personnel misread the situation. They apparently thought the Philippine ship was about to ram into their Coast Guard vessel, something that has never actually happened. On the contrary, video evidence over the years shows Chinese Coast Guard ships using water cannons and aggressive maneuvers to harass Philippine vessels. The Chinese Coast Guard ship in this case was itself a converted naval vessel. much larger than its Philippine counterparts. In the chaos, the Chinese Navy reportedly tried to shield the Coast Guard ship. But with the destroyer weighing over 7,500 tons, there was no way to maneuver in time. The result was a T-bone collision that shattered the bow of the Coast Guard vessel. Right after the crash, the Philippine side even sent a radio message offering medical aid. V9701. "We have medical personnel on board. If you need assistance, we are willing to provide it." Reports say the Chinese Coast Guard had deployed a so-called collision cushion just before impact, a move widely seen as a disastrous miscalculation when facing a massive warship. Footage shows the Coast Guard's bow destroyed, and in freeze frames, red streaks appear in the water at the point of impact, raising suspicions of casualties among Chinese personnel. The Luoyang 3 destroyer itself also sustained damage. While not as severe, it was enough to leave both ships unable to operate at sea. The crash represents a significant loss for the PLA, but so far Chinese state media has made no mention of casualties, almost certainly to avoid overshadowing the September 3rd military parade. Observers say the incident reflects the extreme indoctrination within both the PLA Navy and the Coast Guard. In many operations, China has disguised naval troops as Coast Guard officers to carry out coercive missions in disputed waters. This latest accident isn't just a technical mishap. It exposes cracks within China's forces and has turned them into a laughingstock on the international stage. PLA soldiers, the People's Liberation Army, have been indoctrinated from the very beginning in training camps and political education classes organized by Beijing. From the start of their missions, they are fed distorted ideas about reality. Even though they are the ones violating another nation's sovereign waters, they believe they are completely justified. They do not see it as an act of invasion. They do not see it as harassment. Instead, all responsibility is shifted to the enemy, in this case, the Philippines. This twisted mindset has led to absurd incidents, like the recent collision. The life of an ordinary PLA soldier is of little value. What matters most to the leadership is maintaining the rigid ideology that has been instilled. Immediately after the incident, Xi Jinping, the well-known propaganda mouthpiece of the Chinese regime, posted online blaming the Philippines and threatening that further incursions would be legitimate because China's own ships were damaged. This kind of logic is no different from slapping oneself in the face and then crying while blaming someone else. On Chinese social media, some still mocked the earlier incident where a Philippine Special Forces soldier lost a finger. Yet most remain completely unaware that PLA soldiers themselves may have been killed in this collision, and it is highly likely they will never be told the truth. Hedge fund giant Bridgewater dumps $1.5 billion in Chinese stocks, pulls out of China completely for the first time. Bridgewater Associates, one of the biggest hedge funds in the world, just unloaded nearly $1.5 billion worth of Chinese stocks, marking the first time the firm has completely pulled out of investments in China. In total, Bridgewater sold off stakes in around 16 Chinese companies. Over the past few months, it dumped millions of shares in major names like e-commerce giant Alibaba, JD.com, and search engine Baidu. From April through June, the value of those stocks plummeted. At the same time, Bridgewater shifted its money into American tech giants like Nvidia, Alphabet, Google's parent company, and Microsoft. This move is a major turning point for Bridgewater's founder, Ray Dalio. For years, Dalio was seen as one of the most important foreign investors in China's economy. Back in 2020, he told Fox Business that he liked investing in China, admitting it was controversial, but calling it an opportunity. Last month, however, he sold off the fund's remaining China holdings, a complete exit for the first time. The timing comes as U.S.-China trade tensions heat up again. Earlier this week, the two countries agreed to extend their tariff truce by another 3 months. Just back in April, President Trump had hiked tariffs on Chinese imports to about 145%, prompting Beijing to hit back. That round of escalation rattled global markets and sent both U.S. and Chinese stocks tumbling. Bridgewater's latest move signals a clear, risk-off strategy, pulling back to shield itself from potential losses as uncertainty around China continues to grow. That's all for today's episode. If you found this story insightful, Share your thoughts in the comment section and let us know what you think about the topic. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for staying tuned. We'll see you next time.